Welcome to earGround, and my name is King Boaz, and today I have one of the kings from the city that produces nothing but kings and queens all the time in all different forms and sizes in different fields. We are known for nothing but producing people who are exceptional in different ways. And today I have Orthodox Six. Welcome to the show, my bro.
Thank you and much appreciated for having me on earGround.
Yeah. So to start off with, let's start with Orthodox Six. Let's get into it. Where does Orthodox Six come from?
Orthodox Six is a hip hop name which was inspired by, I felt like my music is acceptable. So Orthodox means something which is acceptable. And the six was just an acronym, which is like, okay, let me just put a synonym on it, Orthodox Six. So six, you can just call it whatever you want to call it. But yeah, Orthodox Six.
All right.
6 million, 6 people, 6 whatever.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, and then they say that we are all products of our environment. So where did you grow up? Where were you molded? In which part of Bulawayo shaped the person that you are, or which parts?
I was born and raised in Bulawayo, specifically Pilo Hospital. Went to Baines Primary School. So at Baines Primary School, that's where I fell in love with Kwaito, because I had friends who used to listen to Kwaito music. I had friends who used to listen to hip hop. But then the love elevated now for hip hop more than the Kwaito aspect when I went to Milton High School. That's where, like, the love for hip hop really blossomed.
Yeah, all right. So you were at Benz and then you moved on to Milton. So can I easily classify you as a salad?
What is the definition of a salad? That's the thing.
It's just not ghetto. It's just not ghetto.
There's a good friend of mine, close friend of mine, she's called Uratile, and she's also a brand ambassador for me. So every time she's always saying, the first time I met up with you, you look so cheesy, the way you talk, with cheese boy. And I'm always having arguments like, what the hell is a cheese boy? My second question to you is, what is a salad?
I think it's just not ghetto. It's just not ghetto. Most of the times it comes through with your accent. It comes through probably with your clothing, because you did not grow up. Your style is not inspired by the ghetto lifestyle. It's inspired by the suburbs.
Yeah, maybe if you say that's the definition of a salad, but I feel like, one thing I noticed is if you're speaking proper English, you're regarded as a salad. Or if you listen to hip hop, we always had those conversations and those debates with females. Like when I moved to the ghetto now, how about you? How about you? You know what I mean? So there was always clashes between the Mapansulas and the so-called the Yos you see now. So, but if you come to realize it now in the hip hop space, we're all complementing each other. You see Zola making a record with Caspar Nyovest. That's Kwaito hip hop coming together. You see ASAF taking some Kwaito elements, or an AKA taking some Kwaito elements. So at the end of the day, we just won, man.
Yeah. All right. So did you live in the ghetto at any point of your life?
For the most part, in my primary school, I was not in the ghetto. I moved to the ghetto, I think, at around grade 7. And I got a culture shock of my life.
Yeah.
I had never been to the ghetto before. The characters in the ghetto, I was like amazed. Like, okay, so I'm used to playing with remote control cars. These guys are pushing, wire cars. I'm used to playing, a mitre, the original ball. But these guys, they're making plastic paper balls. You know,
Yeah.
it was just a whole different dynamic of, you know, living in the ghetto. Like coming from the suburbs and living in the ghetto is just two different things. But then it's just a humbling experience that people in the suburbs are too bougie. You know, it's like you need to come down a bit and like really experience what life is. And I'm blessed that I've lived in the suburbs and I've lived in the ghetto. So there's a
Yeah.
medium there, and I can understand the person from the suburbs and I can understand the person from the ghetto, how they operate.
All right. Yeah. Then when you were in Milton, that is when you really probably started writing your rhymes. Hip hop took full effect over. How did this come about? How did you move and gravitate towards a person that you thought hip hop might be my thing? The love of this genre might be the choice that I want to make. And you were growing up, I suppose, in an environment where where you were exposed to many different other type of music. And what was the source of, or how did this music get to you?
In the 90s, the era I grew up with, yes, I'm an old man. I'm an old man.
Yeah.
At Milton High School, they were like mostly the salads, as you want to call them, or as you want to term them. These guys, you know, had like you know, CD players, the Discmen, the Walkmans. You know what I mean? So if you're coming from like a rich household, you get guys with the Discmen. You get guys being sent, you know, the Walkmans from maybe the UKs, the States, and places like that. So most of the music and the influence was coming from those type of guys I was hanging around with, because these guys were always into hip hop. Like, there's a guy called Tupac. There's a guy called DMX. And I still remember there's this guy called Prince. So Prince had like sister brothers in the UK. So every time they used to send him Ahmad discs. So that's when we were listening to the hip hop. Damn, there's this type of music. This type of music.
Yeah.
So that's where like really the love of hip hop came from Milton High School. And my favorite language as well was English. So yeah, man, it was just a beautiful combination there.
Yeah. All right. And then you met up with guys at some point, and then you decided to start a group and went to record at Cat House.
Yes.
How did you guys come up together and decide we wanna crack it as a music group?
So after Milton High School,
Yeah.
I got shipped to just went dark. What happened there?
Can you see me?
The phone just went blank. Yeah, can you see now? Yes. Can you see me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yeah.
Yeah, as I was saying, from Milton High School, I got shipped off to a boarding school called Siren Boys High. And apparently, there's this guy called Lord Skills.
All
We
right.
met up Siren Boys High as well. He was coming from Milton as well. So we were in the same dorm. We were in the same dorm. I loved the hip hop. This guy loved the hip hop. So we're like, damn, let's form what? A group. We called the Lyrical Diplomats. That's before our deep set lava. We didn't copy the deep sets. We already came up with the name Lyrical Diplomats because we felt like, yo, we're lyrical and we feel like the diplomats were acceptable all over. So we formed that group. We saved money. That was like $5,000 by that time, Zim dollars. We came back from school, went to a studio called Cat House. That was the first time ever trying to record a track. Track never came out. We spent about a month going back and forth to the studio by Itai's joint. Never came out. That was that.
Yeah. You should have loved music to lose that 5,000 and still go back and try again.
Hey, man, there was no choice because we went from Cat House, went to MBFX, went to Ingwe's studios,
Yeah.
and finally, where I got to record my first proper track, I got introduced to the studio by Valentine, the former teen scene presenter. He's the one who took me to Mouchtech. By that time, it was called Mouchtech, and it changed to Michael Blaze Studios, which was run by King Crude, Taito, and Penyuma Ochaza. So that's the first time I recorded my first track called Akaoma.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, with Wakaoma, you still, I suppose, you still remember the inspiration. What was the inspiration on Akaoma, and also maybe if you can just give us 16 parts from that track now.
Okay, the inspiration from Akaoma is I listened to a whole lot of music. So like the first demo track I told you about was AIDS is a Killer. So
All
when we're doing AIDS is a Killer with Lord Skills, shout out to Lord Skill for dropping the classic album Ingnoto Zotando, by the way. Gotta get that award. So like when we did AIDS is a Killer, we were following the urban groove trend.
All right.
We were trying to get, so we're like, AIDS is a killer. And this was a vernacular track. So we're trying to follow urban grooves trend by that time. But then when this CD or tape, I think it was called Shamiso Productions or something, done by Delani, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Outstanding tracks I had from that album. And this was Kingpin inauguration, and a guy called Nota, he was rapping about a love story, and I was like, there are people like this, singing like this, rapping like this in Zim.
Yeah.
So this whole AIDS is a Killer urban groove thing I'm trying to do, that's not really my lane. I'm much feeling this Kingpin Nota lane. Then Pure White dropped 15 Minutes of Fame.
Yeah.
That changed the landscape of hip hop in Bulawayo. And I'm like, this guy is local. And ironically, our demo, which we wanted to record by MBFX, because Poe had recorded the classic album 15 Minutes of Fame by MBFX. I'm like, who existed, who was so lyrical like this, was so good at rapping like this.
Yeah.
That's when I switched up my style now. That's when I came up with the whole Akaoma scheme. And the whole Akaoma scheme or record was a record for battling MCs, because I was trying to stamp my authority. Like, you know what? Orthodox is now here in the game. So if you listen to the lyrics, like, when I hear MCs talking about battling, I strike like a venomous cobra, snake rattling, freestyling. I murder rappers just for rhyming, stabbing their hearts with the steel-plated javelin. I ain't smiling. I smack a nigga with my backhand. Then after that, I grip the mic and smash it on his forehead. So these were like battle bars. Like, yo, I'm coming for the throne. I'm not playing with you. Orthodox was coming to stamp his authority. And how that track also came about is, by that time I was listening to a whole lot of Cannabis. So if you listen to my rhyme scheme, my rhyme patterns, those were just influenced by what? Cannabis. So it was battle tracks. If you listen to my earlier tracks with the Thought Electrics, the Chuck Noses, the Maskiris, it was all battle. There was no like, maybe we're gonna have a topic or something. No. We are just coming to destroy MCs, destroy, and destroy. So that was my whole mindset before I switched it up as well. Because there's always growth and elevation in hip hop. You can't just be battling. People want substance as well.
All right. And then you got signed to Micah Blaze studio around 2002. Why was the signing important? Why was it important for you at the time to be attached to a particular record label?
Shout out to Valentine. Valentine took me to the Mouchtech Studios. So when I got there, I paid, I think it was 3,000 by that time to record. So I recorded Akaoma. When I recorded Akaoma, by this time I was now at Foundation College doing my A-level. I disappeared. Nobody knew who I was. And people were looking for me like, who is this guy who did this track called Akaoma? Who is this Orthodox guy? Because this track, the track was buzzing, but nobody knew me. Nobody had ever seen my face, like to locate, like.
Yeah.
So everyone was looking for me, like, where is this Orthodox guy? And I was nowhere to be found. I took a month to go back to the studio. To what? To collect the track. So when I went back to collect the track, they were like, yo, listen, if you're interested, we've got auditions we are doing. We got contracts which we want to give artists. So if you make it, we will sign you. Then you'll be under what? Yep. Michael Blaze. If you don't, you keep on paying what? The 3,000s for
recording
time. Yep. So I came to the studio the day of the auditions. There was Sea Dog, now known as Calvin.
Yeah.
The Thought Electrics, the Specifics, now known as Zion Oasis by that time. The Prozacs. There was a whole lot of rappers from the city who were there. Skills, Lord Skills was also there. And these guys were coming to showcase their skills to get signed. So fortunately, I got signed at Michael Blaze Studios. So when I got signed, that's when I started recording there. And most of my videos, if you look closely, they've been shot by one guy, and that's King Crude. Yeah. You listen to most of my records, they've been recorded mostly by one guy, and that's King Crude. Yeah. But in Bulawayo, or let me just say my recording career as a musician, the guys who have helped me the most to mold my music is Calvin. Yes, he is a producer as well.
Yeah.
So of my songs, it's Calvin, King Crude, and Center Party from Wisdom Records, the reggae music boss. That's where we record most of our stuff. And I think in my entire life, I've paid for recording twice.
Wow. The 5,000 that you lost?
The 3,000 and the 5,000, that was it. I've never paid for recording ever. So to up-and-coming artists, take your craft seriously, and you might just not need to pay for studio time if somebody believes in your talent.
Yeah, all right, nice. And then you worked on your first album, Authentic Eminence. How did this come about, and what was in that album? Which tracks, and what was the inspiration of coming with Authentic Eminence?
As I said earlier, when I came in the game, it was ORTHODOX SIX coming to destroy everything that people loved and assumed that was the hottest. So remember, by that time, it was all about, I'm the illest, I'm the king. Despite that way, in the city of kings, there are multiple kings, but everyone was like, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. So authentic eminence, that's like saying authentic rulership. The real king has arrived. So the other peasant people, can you move away so that you can make space for the real true MC?
Yeah.
So if you listen to the album, it's mostly battle bars, and more battle bars. That was the subject. Kill, 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 and kill MCs. Full stop.
Yeah. All right. It seems you. I don't know if you love beef or you love battle, or that is the part of hip hop that you kind of adopted and lived with. Because after this album, the Authentic Eminence, you went on to do, or to be part of, a beef mixtape. Maybe before we talk about the beef mixtape, how is it important to have these battles in the hip hop culture, and the healthy side of it? Because most of the times people shy away from this beef, or look at beefs and say this is not a progressive genre because you guys are always shouting, spitting against each other and stuff like that?
By that time, when I was beefing with a whole lot of MCs, it was me coming in the game to try and stamp my authority and say, listen, guys, I'm here, you know. But now at my age and like the mentality I have and the mature perspective I have, beef for me is no longer that necessary because I'm looking beyond, you know, I'm looking beyond the rap aspect. I'm now looking at the business side, the growth side of things. So now we've got people like shout out to Rizla.
Yeah.
They have battle leagues. So I feel like most of the times, maybe if you feel you've got grievances and you want to battle it out, we now got platforms in the hip hop system or the hip hop community where you can say, you know what, let's set up a battle. Let me go and battle such and such. You know, so that shines a light as well to the battle culture. But you know, we always have differences. So at the end of the day, it's always about ego tripping. I'm the best, you're whack. But at the end of the day, beef is good. But I feel like after we done beefing, what's next? Are we going to form votes and come together after beefing, or is just going to be a culture of just beefing, beefing, and beefing all the time? But then there's no growth and development. That's the other issue I have. Like, if someone does good, it seems like we don't have a culture of applauding, like say, hey, earGround, you're doing great work, guys. Keep it up. You know, we are feeling inspired as well. I've got a YouTube TV channel where I also interview artists, and I feel inspired with the work you guys are putting in. Like, that's a dope interview. You know, I like what this earGround guys are doing. They're shedding a light onto the hip hop culture, onto the arts culture, you know.
Yeah.
But it seems there is that lack of, you know, unity of purpose. It's always beef, 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 and more beef. There's no one who's saying, I'm liking what you're doing. You know, it's always negativity all the time. So yes, beef is healthy. Differences are healthy. But at the end of the day, do we come together or we just keep on beefing for 20, 30 years and nothing is coming out of it? That's my question to rappers who are always beefing and beefing and beefing all the time.
All right. Yeah. So do you lead by example in this case because you beefed with the likes of Munetsi, who is also one of the dopest MCs in the country? Did you guys then come together after that and maybe work on something together or have some form of collaborative effort with the likes of Munetsi?
Yes, the first time I met with Munetsi, it was at Rizla, you know, Grapevine Battles. And I was actually shocked how this guy is actually humongous like this, and I was busy, you know, hailing insults at him. This guy is huge. I'm like, damn, okay, this is Munetsi. We made up face to face. We pieced it out. We even got a record. I think it's Cypher 3.0, the trilogy. There's Munetsi, there is Asaf, there's Calvin, there's Prozac, and we're still trying to get like a few more H-Town rappers to come through, you know, so that we can bridge the gap. Like, you know, there's always friction between Harare and Bulawayo. So we're trying like to bridge the gap and bring back the lyricism as well. Like, of course, most people say, orthodox, dinosaur rappers, blah, blah, blah. But yes, we're still here and we still trying to bridge the gap and say, you know what, guys, unity is better than, you know, us just beefing all the time. Unity shows that, you know, we open new avenues as well. So yeah, that's what we did. We've got the track, so hopefully it's coming out soon. Calvin, I don't know what the hell he's doing in his studio because he's the one who recorded it and still mastering, I guess.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, still on that note, I was going to ask this, that there's a gap between the elders, who I think I also classify you among the elders in the game, the people that have been there for a long time, and people that are coming up. what seems to be the problem between the two camps? They seem like there is little to no respect for each other. The youngins think they know better. They think they are better than you, and you think you've been in the game for some time, so you have lots of experience that these youngins can benefit from. Or sometimes you thresh right away and say, stop it, you don't know what you're doing and stuff like that. So what can be a compromise that can be reached between the two sides, the generational differences, and have some form of continuity going forward?
The problem is the youngsters feel like we need out with the old, in with the new. The old feel like the youngsters are doing trash music. This is not good enough music. Back in the day, it was all about lyrics, it was all about how best you can have punchlines, metaphors, simile, the intricate rhyme styles. These guys are just mumbling, no talent at all. How the hell are they getting a fan base, yet they're doing nonsense music? And the newer guys are saying, hey, you guys are old, your styles are washed up, we're not in the 90s no more, we ain't doing no boom bap music. Guys, can you just move out the way? We don't respect you, we don't acknowledge you, we are doing our own thing. This is now a new era, new time. Just move away. So now, in my perspective, I feel the old should embrace the new. And the new should always pay homage to what? The old. Because the old are the ones who paved the way for you guys to enjoy the radio plays, for you guys to enjoy the hip hop you're enjoying right now. Get the point. So, and the old should embrace, like, times have changed, sound has changed. We can coexist. The old and the new, we can still coexist. The new guys, if they want to mumble and do whatever they're doing, we can still coexist. And we also learn from the new guys how things are. We've got things like, like I've noticed why most of these old rappers are fading away or just dying, because they are refusing to evolve. They are refusing to elevate.
Yeah.
I saw that I cannot be rapping all the time. I cannot be doing boom bap music all the time. Let me form or come up with a YouTube channel, Kingsville TV, where I promote and, shed a light on the youngsters and the old as well. Because you see, the old have never had a platform where they can say, you know what, in the 90s we're doing this, in the 2000s we're doing this, the history. Because these young kids know the history, whether there was an icon, whether there was the Killer Clans, whether there was the Hammer Dreads, whether there was the Zion Oasis. They don't know that. Yeah. They feel like maybe hip hop just started like now with the newer generation, but there was a generation before that. So I came up with Kingsville TV for me to expose these older generation guys and say, come to the platform and give us a bit of background of what you guys were doing back then. And we also take the newer artists to say, can you please tell us what you guys are up to? So we can coexist as well, because the older heads have the game. The newer generation have also got game. These are just different times, which we are trying to just blend in so that we can coexist. So I feel like there's no need for us to fight, guys. We can always coexist, whether you're mumbling, whether you can spit 1,000 bars of hardcore lyrics. We can still coexist. This is a hip hop space. It's very big. Let's just enjoy ourselves and make that money. Because at the end of the day, the point I'm at now, it's all about the money. And I think that's another aspect which is missing in the game. It's always about music, music, music. What about the business part? How are we going to solve that?
All right. But is there a platform, maybe because of the gap that exists, that then teaches the upcoming artists or even some of the older artists how to look at the business side of their music? Because there are people that you see, this is so much potential, or this person has done so much musically, but there is nothing to show for it. So is there a platform that then tries to show people the ropes to say, if you are doing this, if you're to make money, this is probably where you should put your stuff. This is what you should do, so that you can try and have a brand that is attractive to the corporate world.
Yeah, I always tell people, like, people always come to me and ask, like, how can we make money? How can we, generate revenue through music? And I'm like, as long as you got a fan base, you can make money. I always tell guys, turn your celebrity into revenue. You get the point?
Yeah.
Turn your celebrity into revenue. Don't just think music all the time. Like, if I'm trying to sell a CD, a $5 CD, are they going to buy it? Because remember, music is subjective. And most of the people say, me, I don't listen to what? Hip hop. Me, I don't listen to R&B. I listen to gospel music. So I always tell people, like, turn your celebrity into revenue. What I'm trying to say is, maybe you sell your music. You feel like in these economic times and hardships, $5 is too much, right? Why don't you make an album and sell it for $1? You've got 10,000 followers, and you drop an album and you sell it for $1. That's 10,000 US dollars you've had. But people say, selling my CD for $1, that's like, I'm now compromising my art form. That's just too cheap. You're making my music too cheap. I'd rather sell a single for $1. You get the point now.
Yeah.
The business, we can say.
So,
and the other point, saying, like, turn your celebrity into money. I'll give you an example of a guy like Calvin. Imagine if Calvin had a business which he's pushing, maybe selling some stuff or whatever. People are definitely going to say, let's go to what? Calvin's store and buy whatever it is that he's selling. This has got nothing to do with music. They're now supporting the celebrity aspect of Calvin. Like, this guy, we already know him. Now let's go and buy a Calvin biscuits or whatever it is that he's pushing. That's turning your celebrity into money.
All right.
People always assume that music will get them there, but nowadays you can't just think about the music aspect, because people, remember, they don't buy music, and for Bulawa it's very hard to please the crowd for them to come to your show. So now, for me, another time, another guy was like, if you post something, you get 10 likes, 5 likes, bruh. Us, we get 5,000 likes, 500 likes. And I was like, the difference between my 10 likes and your 500 likes? Those 10 people who like my post, I'm guaranteed of $100 US when I'm selling my merchandise. Your 500 followers, there's nothing there.
Don't buy anything,
Exactly. That's the difference. Like, you have to have true fans who support your hustle. Because artists have to eat. We use electricity, guys. We spend sleepless nights writing these songs. We record, we get hungry. We need to feed our tummies. We need to survive as well. But, that's why I've got a problem with this whole thing of giving free music out. Because you spend so much time writing the music, going to the studio, using transport, using energy. But at the end of the day, you just upload the music and give it for free. Then after that, it's like, okay, we've listened to the music. And the fans are always hungry. The internet needs to be fed all the time. You are an interviewer. You know that you need to feed the system all the time. So after dropping the album, it's like, Cutting Daughter, when is the next project coming out? And you never got anything, but you spent sleepless nights in your hard-earned cash, paying for studio time and stuff. So that's why I'm saying we need to start thinking as business people, start knocking at corporate doors, start making music that appeals to the corporates, that appeals to the audience, because you need to know what type of audience you're catering for. And you need to have a target market where you say, you know what, if I sing this type of music, I'm going to get paid when I perform. But if we're just making music, then it's a hobby. It's not a business. It's just, did you hear my song? It's nice. We like it. We like it. But then there's no money. At the end of the day, you start getting frustrated.
All right. Yeah. And then you did a Sweet November, a cameo which featured on Africa Magic, and also from my little research, there is so much controversy around that. Who got paid for it? Who sent it to Africa Magic? Maybe if you can tell us what was the storyline of Sweet November? How did it come about, and how did it end at Africa Magic without you guys financially benefiting?
Sweet November was a track, a love story, which I came up with by Michael Blaze Studios. So the whole initial idea was we record the track, we shoot the short film, then that track will be the soundtrack for what? The short film.
All right.
So the movie initially, the short film was called, the track was first recorded called Sweet November. So the lyrics now were now the script for the short film. Right. So King Crude and MC Taito decided to go and partner up with Ingwe Studios to shoot what? The short film. So they shot the Sweet November short film. And unfortunately, by that time, we couldn't shoot the soundtrack thing to the movie because the other guy, the producer, passed away. I think it was Andrew. Right. If I'm not mistaken, Andrew passed away. So then it just disrupted the whole program. So when Andrew passed away, he was the link between Michael Blaze and Ingwe Studios.
All right.
So when the movie got finished being edited and stuff, the other guys from Ingwe Studios, I think, felt entitled, like, you guys were using our equipment, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just going to take this project and run with it. So I'm not really sure whether it was Tandazani or some guy from Ingwe Studios took the movie, went and got paid from Africa Magic because it was airing at Africa Magic. So King Crude and MC Taito were the co-producers as well. They tried to complain about it, but no money came out of that. So guys, next time you're doing a project, make sure your contracts are right. Make sure you're on top of your business so that you can get what? Paid.
Yeah. All right. But did that elevate your game in any way? Did Sweet November coming out on Africa Magic do anything in furthering your brand?
For me, it didn't really do much for me because I was not really involved in the short film. I just had a cameo appearance in there.
Yeah.
So for me, it didn't really change anything because my gripe was, damn, I'm still yet to shoot the soundtrack for this thing, like the video. Yeah. And I was unable to do that. So that's where my gripe was. But further down the line, I think if you check, you saw the Sweet November video now.
Yeah.
So it was done on its own, no soundtrack, no nothing. We just had to redo the whole thing. And that's where the elevation came from now. Like, damn, that's a dope song, you know. It seems like this guy who was always beefing and battling is elevating his game to different topics. Because in Bulawayo or in other cities, I was now classified like, that guy is always because no one wanted to really associate me. It's like, this guy is too disruptive. Do a track with him, the next thing you get dissed. So that stigma, like, Orthodox Six is all about eating MCs only. So we can't really, it's not stable. You get the point.
Yeah.
But now when I did Sweet November, when I did Street Child, when I did Where I'm From, when I did Rebel with the Cause, that's when people started like realizing that I'm not just about, dissing people. There's more to me, than just dissing.
All right, nice. And then I guess music wasn't paying much, and then you decided to get into into fashion designing. How did Kingsville, the label, come about?
Yes, I felt like I needed money. Music, not doing it for me. Hardcore raps and Orthodox and underground MC radio was not really paying attention to me. We were recording, but the politics in the game. You send your music to the stations in H-Town, they're not playing it. People, they're not recognizing you because they are selected few already in the game, which they're pushing. So why the hell would they take first preference of a Bulawayo artist instead of a Harare artist by that time? Because we had no radio stations. So Harare had the radio stations. And by that time, remember, we could not really showcase our talents because they had taken Tinsin to Harare as well. So Bulawayo was left with nothing. So how am I going to like showcase what I have? So the next best thing, I was like, you know what? Everybody wears a cap. Everybody wears a t-shirt. Everybody wears a hoodie. People love clothes. Let me try my hand into what? Clothing. And these other guys, the first guys, shout out to Icon. These are the first guys who started this whole hip-hop connecting with fashion. And this was Ebenway.
Yeah.
I was really inspired as well. Like, damn, if these guys could really do this, then what's stopping me from what? Doing that. So that's when the whole idea came into fruition as well. Like, we've got guys like Icon who did it. Let me do it as well. So I kept pushing from the designs, doing market research, talking to Chinese people making samples, because I felt like, why wear a FUBU cap or a FUBU t-shirt when we can make something similar to that with the same quality, but just a local brand?
Yeah.
So that was my started like, let's stop, buying these foreign brands and come up with something which is quality. And I realized that if you got a quality product, people will support you. And if you got something that a person can wear and feel like, damn, this is local. Because people were confused, like, this this does not look like a local thing. Because people were really confused about the whole thing. Because we were using manufacturers from out of the country or the 3D embroideries to try to make it as authentic as it can be, so that when you are rocking it, you feel like you've got that local pride and you're rocking something which is fresh, authentic, and original. You're not ashamed of your local product. So that's where the whole idea came from. Like, let's try and push, quality first before anything else. And I saw that, no, people are really appreciating, people are buying, people are supporting. Before, I was trying to push music, but no one is going to buy music because, as I said earlier before, it's like, people are picky. People are picky when it comes to music. But a t-shirt, if I want a black t-shirt, I'll just buy a black t-shirt, you see. So that's the difference between music and product you are selling. You're selling a cap, a person will say, hey, I just want a Black Kingsville cap. You see now, that's the difference between the music aspect and the fashion aspect. And I discovered that there's more money made when you've got a product to sell. And I always tell people, like, have a product which people need all the time. What are you selling me which I need? People need milling. People need groceries. They need this. People need transportation. People need water. So are you coming with that? Because I don't need music. I really don't. I can
Yeah.
live without music.
Yeah,
But I
true
can't
that.
live,
True that.
but I couldn't come here naked, for the interview, could I?
Yeah.
I need clothes.
Yeah.
So market research, guys, is important. Let's market research, come up with ideas on how to make money outside music. As you can see, like most of these guys are making getting endorsement deals. You go to a ball company, you go to a person who's got drilling machines. These corporates, you approach them, hey guys, I'm so and so, I've got so many followers on my Instagram, on my Facebook. I can advertise what? Your ball drilling company, you're selling tires, I can advertise tires for you. Those are the type of ideas we need to incorporate now for our survival. And yes, you'll be using your music celebrity to get that revenue from somewhere else. So that's what I always advocate to the young guys. I always try to teach the young guys, like, guys, let's not just concentrate on music. Let's look at the business side of it so that you
Yeah.
can get paid, so that you can drive that car. Because it's
Yeah.
so sad that our artists cannot even afford the so-called Honda Fit, the cheapest car. People tell them like, that little thing Honda Fit. You get the point. But
Yeah.
for getting that Honda Fit may be about 3.5, 4,000. That's hard money to come by if you're not
Yeah.
really generating that revenue. So I always tell, like, let's hustle. Let's use our followers. Let's use our celebrity influence so that we can get paid. Let's not just make this a hobby, but something that when you go home and say, mama, I'm a rapper, I'm singing, having paper bags, they can see like, yeah, keep on singing. Because
People
what?
do that. Yeah.
Yeah, making
Yeah.
money. But now, if you keep on singing and singing and singing and singing, but there's nothing coming out, like, go and look for a job. Yeah. You see now.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Looking at the state of hip hop at the moment, and going back to when you started, is the game going forward? Is there progress in the industry? Can you look back and say, okay, we've come a long way. We are at a better place. And if we are at a better place, what can we do to push the game forward?
Definitely. We are far in a better place right now than before.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Back in the 90s, there were limited studios. RIP to Joe Masego, he was one of them. There was Ingwe Studios. There were just a few people who were recording, and you needed to get like DAT tapes for you to record. Then they're going to like it was a hustle to even record. But now, the younger generation, you can record in your bedroom now. You upload this YouTube, SoundCloud. There's a whole lot of avenues you can use for you to get your music out there. So I feel like music now, we're in a better place. And from time to time, I make these vines, these comedy vines, which I make. That's another way to market yourself. You may never know who's going to see your video and say, okay, I like this. It's easy for people to go viral now than back in the days. And the internet is now a global village where a guy from the States, a guy from Uganda, a guy from wherever, they see your talent. So it's much better now. And the hip hop space in Zim, yes, it's growing. Even the videos, quality, people are making quality music, quality videos. I feel like people are really taking their art form serious now because they're trying to compete with the South Africans, the Nigerians, So
Yeah.
yeah, Zim, the quality is getting there, despite the economic hardships. But people are really putting effort to make their product quality and exportable out there. And yeah, hip hop is growing. It's still growing. And yeah, shout out to all the hip hoppers, man. The struggle continues, but we will get there.
Yeah. So is there anyone right now, maybe in your playlist from the local scene that you can say these are artists to look out to for maybe five artists that you say these are artists that are happening for me right now. People should check them out.
Shout out to Lord Skills. As I said before, Lord Skills, that's a dope album, Ingxoxo Zothando. And I would give it to Calvin, my boy. You know, consistency, consistency, consistency. This guy is very consistent and is giving you dope music. And we got Asaph, he's giving you great music as well, dope visuals, consistent as well. We got this guy called The Dog. I think he's the king of hooks in Bulawayo, that's far. This guy
Yeah.
is just dropping dope hooks and visuals. And shout out to Rasqui City, you know, his visual game, you know, is dope as well. Shout out to what's this boy's name now? Ish. Rocky Dub, yes, Rocky Dub.
Yeah.
They're representing for the city. And shout out to H-Town because I know they're also putting work on the Zim dancehall aspect, hip hop aspect as well. The visuals are great. Shout out to Vusa Blacks, Andy Carter. You know, these guys are, you know, making the game grow and, you know, go forward, man.
Yeah, all right. So what are you working on? What can we look forward to before I let you go? What are you working on at the moment? As Orthodox Six or as Kingsville TV? Is there anything that we should be looking out for?
At the moment, Kingsville TV, we are just working on just interviews and more interviews, shedding light on at the moment our artists, because I feel like they're not really getting that coverage they need. So I'm just taking hip hop artists at the moment, but I feel like we need to expand into the arts department as well. Take R&B singers, gospel singers. Shout out to Omvi TV. I don't know if you have seen some of their stuff, but
yeah,
doing a good job as well. Shout out to earGround. You know, they're doing massive job as well. So these are some of the guys just looking at, and they'll be inspiring me as well. Like, you know what? Let me improve on this aspect. Let me improve on my lighting. Okay, let me do Skype interviews as well. You know, I've never done a Skype interview, but you see, you've inspired me, earGround, to start looking at that like, so which artist am I going to Skype interview? You know, so those are the things I'll be looking at Kingsville TV and at the clothing line. At the moment, yeah, we're facing a bit of challenges due to the corona and stuff because most of our stuff we imported from South Africa and outside the country, but due to the borders being closed and, you know, Zim, we don't have like enough material for us to do cut and sew. So that's a bit of a setback, but we're still there in the struggle. Shout out to the beautiful and lovely Miss Uratile. That's one of my Kingsville clothing model, you know, she keeping the Instagram sizzling. Yes. Yeah. And on the music part, well, I've been doing these ciphers with Prozac. You know, we did part 1, part 2, and as I said earlier on, we're waiting for part 3 with the Harare artists, and hopefully we're going to shoot videos for that, visuals for the ciphers. And the whole idea of ciphers was bringing bars back. You know how old heads think, these guys are not, you know, lyrical. Yeah. So trying to show them how we used to do it back in the day. Let's do lyrical stuff. So that was just the whole idea of bringing bars back. It had nothing to do with trying to be commercial or mainstream. It was all about just hip hop in its purest form. So those are some of the projects I've been just working on, and maybe just trying to find new hustles on how to generate revenue, because it's a tight Zim, man. You need that revenue stream. So if you don't have a 9 to 5, it's a tight.
Yeah, but if you have a 9 to 5 also, the Zim dollar is not much at the moment.
Yeah, so all angles, man, all angles. We're just suffering, but I think we'll get there. We just have to push the passion and keep inspiring each other. And motivating each other. Despite our differences and squabbles, the main goal is to, like, you know, uplift the game. Let's be visible out there, because it feels like we're lagging behind in Africa now. It's always like, they're leaving Zimbabwe out of these concerts. They don't recognize us, you know, because it seems there's a barrier somewhere. We've got so much talent out here, so much exportable international talent out here, but somehow, hey, it's a tight. But I know that we'll get there.
Yeah, I think sometimes we're letting ourselves down in a sense, especially on the international scene. If someone shines, they don't bring others along. I posted something about blacks thinking about being the first black to do this, being the only black to do this, being the black that's best at this. And most of the time, it's also the same thing with Zimbabwe, where I'm the first Zimbabwean to do this, I'm the first Zimbabwean to do that. And then at the end of the day, no one comes close to you because you're the first to do it, and you then keep people at arm's length, or you do anything in your power to make sure that you hold on to that title to say you are the only one who's ever done this, which is not progressive at all.
Yes, we definitely need unity of purpose, as I said earlier. Yeah. Unity of purpose. Let's form Voltron. If we form Voltron, I think things will move smoothly. But if it's always me, I want the shine, I want to be seen all the time, then that means the other up-and-coming artists are not growing. That's the other gripe I had. Like, guys, let's have new talent as well shining.
Yeah.
You know, uplift the young ones.
Yeah.
You know, we heard, like, we already know, yes, you are talented, you are an OG, you are a legend. We've already seen that, you've proved that a million times. But then we need new talent, you know, cultivate them, show them the ropes, and you'll be surprised, we'll go far.
Yeah. To put you on the spot as we round up, maybe if you can give us 16 bars from one of the stuff that's coming up that's still being mixed, or something new that people haven't heard.
Listen to this guy now. Hey. Let me see. You know, we're not old and dinosaurs out here, so we're now trying to come up with the rhymes we wrote in the 90s there. But let me just hit you with something. Let me see what I can come up with. All right, let me hit you with some underground stuff, okay?
All right.
Hey, yo, my vocabulary utterance ignites chaos as poisonous verses evaporated to the utmost. Nuclear holocaust wipes you out like mosquitoes, transmitting a virus through your follicles. Skin pores, here's to you and yours with metaphors that break jaws, that break spinal cords, using microphones and keyboards, swinging swords, severing heads like Greek warlords, with blood gushing out from your mouth, ears, and nostrils. I wreck shows, arming myself with bows and arrows, with unstoppable flows like tropical cyclones and Roman numerals. I confuse your brain terminals in complex ways similar to synoptic gospels, Allah's parables, scriptures, scrolls, and miracles. Formulate the castration of your spermless testicles, worthless genitals, white cells, and blood vessels. My thoughts are deeper than Hindus lamenting in the temples. I cast lyrical spells, French kissing Jezebel, choke holding Lucifer with ropes from a church bell. Okay, let me stop. Let me stop.
You got my mind tormented. I'm looking for a dictionary, like,
yes, see,
what is this saying?
Those are the type of rhymes we were writing back in the day, and now it has changed now, you see. So we cannot be singing about, you know, astrologically, I foretell my own destiny, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. So yeah, man.
Yeah. Cool, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time, man.
Hey, before I go, I want to give a shout out to Prozac. Give a shout out to Calvin. Give a shout out to Boaz. Give a shout out to Center Party. Give a shout out to all the guys supporting the Kingsville clothing movement. We're coming up with new stuff. Shout out to my man's Clement. You know, shout out to everybody, man. Just supporting. Shout out to MC Title. Shout out to King Crude. Shout out to the whole Michael Blaze family. Shout out to earGround. You know, we see you, man. We see you. That's
Thank
what's
you,
up.
man. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Yeah, that was Orthodox, a legend in the game. This is a man who stood the test of time. He's come up with many different things, short films. He's come up with a clothing label. He's still doing music, and he's inspiring and working with the next generation for continuity in the game. Thank you so much, Orthodox Six. This is King Boaz on earGround, and I'm out.
Salute.